From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you into this Friday's edition of For the People on an October the 20th, 2017. Yesterday, Mr. Kelly, very emotional about this sad story about this phone call that Donald Trump made to a widower. And it's one of these footballs, folks, that people have been kicking. And it's really sad to know that this soldier killed in Niger turned into this tirade. I just believe that this has been a political football designed by the left to make Donald Trump look like he doesn't care about the military or military families, or because, and I've heard this said to the left, because it was a minority. And Donald Trump's a racist. And that's why that his life was expendable. And that's why he was insensitive during the conversation. I just don't see John Kelly, who is decorated. Part of that, that moment, heard the conversation, the exchange. I just cannot imagine it because of his son dying in Iraq. You saw this in an emotional Kelly yesterday, coming into a briefing room yesterday. He said he was stunned and brokenhearted to hear Wilson's selfish criticism of a presidential call that he thought was a fine attempt to say that Johnson died among the best in the country. That this was what he signed up for. I thought at least that was sacred, said Kelly, adding that he thought solace during a stroll at Arlington National Cemetery. He says, obviously in this climate, the disputed call is news. But let's say Trump stumbled during the call or meant to say that anyone who goes into the armed forces knows that there are risks and we are grateful for his service. Is the press really whipping itself into a frenzy over how the president made a call that is so difficult to make, trying to comfort a mother who has suffered the ultimate loss? Donald Trump didn't have to make the call. He didn't just make a call. He wasn't making robocalls. He wasn't asking for anybody's support. President Obama did not call Kelly and give his condolences when his son died in Afghanistan. Not every president does. This one did. He didn't call to argue. He called to comfort. And sometimes there's no comforting words to be said other than he was one of the elites in our country, the 1 percentile, that made it to be a Green Beret. Special Forces. Rambo types. I mean, the best of the best, an elite group. Not everybody holds that title. This is one of the most dangerous special forces to be in. Yes, they're elite, but they can be killed, as we've clearly seen. There's an investigation. We know who killed them. It was ISIS militants. That's what terrorists do. It was sad that 3 of them died. How they got the intelligence, how they were tipped off, how they were able to do it, how they were pull it off, who knows? But somebody knew. that they were coming. Back to the case in point. John Kelly, what he did yesterday, I think was needed. It needed to happen. They needed to hear John Kelly come up to the microphones, decorated, as they say, high position there. How can you not now, after hearing that? That's what I say to the left media. I was there. I heard what was said. Even if he stumbled and he messed up on his words, this was an elite group. This is what they signed up for. Anybody that goes into the military knows the possibilities. Every military family knows the possibilities. But he died with honor and distinction. General Kelly made the point that the men who died in Niger were heroes. And the behavior of just about everyone else in this melodrama has been less than heroic. There are people that want to make this president the worst president. And that's where the fake news comes in, where people fill in the narrative. They fill in the blanks. And this is a political football, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm hearing it kicked around from liberals. And they love it because they hate, vehemently they hate, H-A-T-E, they hate Donald Trump. And some of them really don't even know why they do. And most of the stuff, folks, that I hear that they say they hate Donald Trump in, there's no truth to it. But General Kelly yesterday kind of even put the elephant in the room. What do they say? Behind every good lie, there's a little truth in it. They sprinkled just a little something in it. Well, yes, he called the lady. And yes, he tried to console her. But then Trump said something he should never have said. Yes, he knew what he was going to sign up for with his comrades. And for the people he was with, his friends, his buddies, his elite force friends from the special forces. These were a band of brothers. They did know what they were signing up for. And even if he just said it in that way, he didn't mean any disrespect. It means that they were heroes. And it's very unfortunate that they died. And that's why he was calling in the first place, to say thank you and I'm sorry. And he did say he was sorry for the loss of her son. He didn't just inject, oh, by the way, she's a black woman and he was black, and we're going to go and diss her and disrespect her. It's as if they made Donald Trump say, and lady, come on, don't cry. You know your son signed up for this. He knew what he was getting into, babe. Come on, suck it up. They make it sound like he was brash and ugly and disrespectful and was unsympathetic, yada, yada, yada. Remember, it's not what you say. It's how you say it. All right, so if it was in a tender moment, and let me kind of give you an example here. So I just gave you that one example, right? It was nonchalant or anything like that. So what if I kind of said, Miss Jones, or Pradisha Wilson, this is the Democrat, by the way, the Congresswoman who has heard the call that has been all over the TV, vehemently attacking the president. She's saying that she told Jones Johnson that her son must have known what he signed up for. So, anyways, here's my try if I was the president, and I was going to say that. I'm sorry of the loss of your son. We're all just brokenhearted. Our country was lucky to have him. I know this is hard, but your son must have known what he signed up for. when he went in. He was the elite of the elite, the best of the best. We just can't say enough to say how sorry we are. But he was something special. We don't know the tone, but I can't say that he was ugly. And Kelly would have stood by knowing his son died in Afghanistan, or had somebody disrespect the military, or a military mother. They weren't there. Kelly was there, and several other staffers were there. I cannot see Donald Trump, the way that he treats the military, talks about the military, wants to build up the military, is doing these things, would do this to a broken-hearted woman. I just am really very upset about this, and very sad that this is the football that people are kicking around. This has got to stop. And I think this would be embarrassing, in my opinion, to the Green Beret that died, lost his life, if he knew that this was going on around all of this. Making much more out of it than it needed to be. The president's call to widow of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson became the next flashpoint. Kawanda Jones Johnson was telling the Washington Post that Trump did disrespect my son. So there you go. You tell the liberal media, she goes on this. Is it possible then? Is it just possible that what Donald Trump said was taken out of context? So many things have been taken out of context. Now you say, we are defending Donald Trump. Don't do that. Well, we endorse Donald Trump. And I have told you, and you'll have to continue listening to the program of why I did, because I believe he stands for everything that is us that call up America, and believe in America, that he's fighting for her, and she is going to die if he didn't become president. Hillary Clinton would have totally been the death knell to America. I believe that. We were going nowhere. We were going to hell fast in every single direction. And speaking a different language would have happened for all of us. We've been taken over. I'm convinced of it. It's the destruction of America, planned destruction of America. I can tell you, folks, that Donald Trump, and I've seen him in action around our military with rallies here in Tampa Bay. He loves the military. He's very genuine and very personable. Donald Trump may not always have the smoothest words like Barack Obama. And there are some people, folks, that are a little brash, a little rough around the edges, that don't have a great vocabulary or know how to really wield words when it's necessary, like Barack Obama or other past presidents that were so good at doing that. Trump's not the best spokesperson. He's great on the teleprompter. And maybe he should have written down a prepared speech. I don't know. But the intention wasn't to hurt this lady or hurt her son. And I honestly believe that, folks. That's my talking points. And this week has been a sad day. And it's just, again, another football, in my opinion, for the left to try to disparage, to discredit, and dishonor a moment for this special forces guy and guys, the three guys that lost their lives. It takes away from their sacrifice. And I think this is just deplorable. It's sad. And I wish this wasn't a story that I had to talk about. But it's there. All right, here's a one that I just have to shake my head at. But I'm not surprised this is happening out in California. A federal appeals court is giving the green light to activists seeking to overturn California's 145 ban on commercial sex. The three-judge panel of Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco said that the plaintiff's legal challenge against the ban may proceed. See, the plaintiffs say that the current law violates the right to engage in consensual sex, as described in 2003. A U.S. Supreme Court back then ruling that revoked criminal laws against gay sex